Well, good morning, everyone. So the Soltech Grow Light that we had ordered together in my recent Planty shopping video has finally arrived despite weather-related shipping delays due to the ice storm that we had here. And to be honest with you guys, it has actually been here for a week. But the day after it arrived, I did come down with a bad cold. And so it's literally just been sitting in my front entryway taunting me for 7 days now. And I've been dying to unbox this thing and install it. But obviously I wanted to do it together with you guys. So I had to be patient and wait until I got better. But I do feel like I am pretty much completely over my cold now. So today we're going to be unboxing this light and we're going to be installing it back here behind me over the plants that live on this section by the TV. Now, this is our primary planty project for the day. Depending on how long this takes, I do have some other planty projects that I need to do today. And so we will see if we get to any of those or not. I just honestly, you guys, I'm sure you guys know how it is. Whenever you have to like install something or put together furniture or anything like that, it always seems to take longer than you think it's going to take. But let's just go ahead and dive right into it and start opening this box and take a look at what we've got. And apparently Toby wants to help us open the box. This is not helpful, Toby. This is not helpful. This is not helping to open the box, buddy. Yeah, you stay up there. And while I'm opening this box, you guys, I did want to go ahead and let you know that there was actually a small part of that planty shopping video that I cut out. I did have to start a chat with customer service at Soltech because if you'll recall, I was using my own money plus a gift card that I had gotten from my company for Christmas to buy this. So just a quick reminder that that planty shopping video was not a sponsored video and neither is this one. I did buy this light with my own money. Well, my own money plus that gift card that I was given for Christmas from my company. But the problem was when I was checking out on Soltech's site, like there wasn't a way for me to use an American Express gift card for part of the payment and then my credit card for the other part of the payment. So I had reached out to somebody via chat on there to figure out what I needed to do, even though I knew probably the only solution was for me to use the gift card to buy an actual Soltech gift card and then use that in my credit card to check out, which is what I ended up having to do. So while I was chatting with Luis, a very lovely gentleman in customer service, very helpful, I did ask him if there was somebody that I could talk to about possibly setting up a special discount for you guys, since I know a lot of you own Soltech Solution Grow Lights already, but want to own more for other areas of your house. And then I know a lot of you that don't own them have them on your planty item wish list. And so I did get in touch with somebody over there and they were able to set me up with a code for you guys. So if you use code Aloha at checkout, you can get 15% off. And they were nice enough to set it up so that I also get a small commission off of any purchases that you guys make using that code. So that is an excellent way to also help support the channel while also getting the grow lights of your dreams, because I know a lot of you have really been wanting these for a long time. But let's take a look at what we've got here. So here we've got the Pinocchio Wall Hanger that I ordered in order to hang this light up. And just a reminder that I did end up getting the natural wood color instead of the white one because the white ones were actually on back order at the time that I bought this, and I had been going back and forth on whether I should get natural wood or white. So I just took it as a sign that I should be getting the natural wood one. So hopefully we like the color of this. And then also we have the actual light itself. And just a reminder, I did get the Aspect pendant light in the large size because the large size based on their specifications on their site is what I needed for the area that I'm trying to cover over here. And I did get it in white. So let me move the packing box out of the way. And then we will go ahead and start opening these up and taking a look at everything. So I think I'll go ahead and get the hanger open first because I really am curious to see like how the natural wood looks compared to my natural woods in here. And while I'm opening this, since I was already chatting with them about getting that discount code set up for you, I did take the opportunity to also inquire about if they were going to have any kind of exciting new products being launched this year, because it did seem like, just from my background in marketing and doing product launches, it seemed like they were due for some kind of new product to be launched this year. Man, I'm having a hard time getting this out of here. Maybe I'll try it from the other end. So anyways, I inquired about that and hoping that they were going to say yes. Honestly, I was hoping that they would give me a little bit of insight into what the product was going to be, but I knew they probably weren't going to. They're going to keep it hush hush until they're ready to launch it. But they did tell me that they are going to be launching a new product here not only this year, but in the next few months. So I'm super excited about that. I definitely made sure I was signed up for their newsletter so that, you know, I would get alerted about that. And definitely, even if you already have one of their lights and you're like, I don't need another one right now, save that code Aloha, because when that new product comes out, it might be something you're super excited about and want to get. And that code does not expire, you guys. So you can use that whenever. But that was super exciting to me. And so like I said, yeah, I made sure I was signed up for the newsletter so I would get notified when that launches. And I also made sure I was following them on Instagram as well at Soltech Solutions, so I can find out over there. And another interesting thing, you guys, that I just found out 2 days ago randomly, Nick Pileggi is now doing Soltech social media content for them, which I thought was awesome. So go give them a follow. It's kind of like you're supporting Nick as well now that he is working for them in that capacity. And yeah, that was just really cool. I'm really happy for him that he landed that gig. Like, how cool is that? So yeah, lots of fun, interesting things, you know, going on. But we've got this open now, and I will say it is definitely textbook what I would call natural wood colored. So it is definitely like, I don't even think it's necessarily, well, it might have some kind of like finish on it. It's not totally raw, but it is definitely natural wood colored. So it is going to be a little bit different than, for example, my furniture. And, you know, I think it's still going to be okay though, because it is going to be high up on the wall. So it's going to be far enough away from the other natural woods that I don't think it's going to be like, you know, oh my God, that doesn't match. I think we'll be okay. So, and this is very simple. As you can see, it's just the two parts here. And once I start putting it together, you'll understand how it works. A couple of wooden little dowel things, and then some screws that I just dropped on the floor, and some wall anchors. Now, you guys did reach out and recommend to me in the comments of that video that I use command strips to attach this instead of drilling holes in the wall, just in case I decide I don't particularly like this hanger or whatever. And so I did, as you saw this morning, run out to the store and get some command strips. The only thing I'm concerned about with these is that they do add, I'm looking at it, probably about like a 1/4 inch of thickness to the back side of this. That's going to make it not necessarily sit flush to the wall. So I'm not sure I'm going to like that. But you know what? Since I do want to just get it up there first and make sure that I like it just in general, I think it's a good idea to use these just temporarily to put it up. And then once I get it positioned and everything how I want it, and I decide that I definitely like it, if I feel like these are pushing it too far away from the wall, then I can permanently attach it. Not permanently, you know what I'm trying to say. I can attach it with the actual screws to the wall, but we're going to use these first. But let's go ahead and get the, oh, and then we have the instructions here as well. But let's go ahead and get the actual light opened up here. If I can figure out, oh, here we go. Oh, we got to cut into this. Okay. And I have heard different stories about if this is easy to install or not, but I think because I got that Pinocchio hanger, that I'm going to have an easier time installing this than if I was using the regular hooks and stuff that you're going to see that come in this box. Because honestly, I feel like everybody I've heard say that they've had kind of a little bit hard time, like, I don't know if it was a hard time actually installing it, you guys, or if it was just a hard time understanding the instructions to install it, or both. But I feel like everybody that has said that was using the hooks that actually come in here versus like an actual hanger. I'm just reading what this says on the box. There's a quote from Claude Monet on here that says, "My garden is my most beautiful masterpiece." Lovely. Okay, so just a reminder, you guys, this is a full spectrum light. It does have a 15-year lifespan. It is like a warm colored white light. And that was another thing that was key for my decision on, you know, picking what grow lights I want. I don't like the harsh white light. I can't. Like, I literally don't turn lights on in my house. I mean, that's why I bought this house with this many giant windows, is so that I don't have to use artificial lights unless it's necessary for my plants. And so regardless of whether it's light for me or my plants, I want it to be inviting. I don't want it to feel like I'm looking at like a fluorescent light. There's nothing worse than fluorescent lights. It like triggers my migraines and things like that. So I definitely like as natural of a light as possible. And so that was another thing that I really liked regarding like the reviews that I had heard of about this light. I will tell you right now, this looks so much bigger in person than I feel like it does in the photos. But once again, it's going to be hanging up high, so it's not going to look, I mean, it looks huge when you're holding it in your hand, but from a distance, I think it's going to be fine. And as I mentioned, it does have this nice fabric encased cord. So even though the cord is going to be exposed, it's not just some funky like plastic cord. It definitely looks a lot nicer than a plastic cord. And then of course, this part I'm going to hide behind the TV stand over there, so you won't see that, or maybe just behind the Monstera. I don't know. We'll see once we get it up there. And then in here, we can see the actual light itself. And yes, very stylish. Another reason that I wanted to get this one, as I mentioned before. So we've got this out. And it feels kind of heavy to me, but I looked it up. It's only like, I think 4 or 6 pounds, maybe something like that. So it's really not that heavy. It just, I don't know, when you're holding things, sometimes it feels heavier. Maybe I'm just a bad judge of weight. I don't know, you guys. Okay, so let's see, down here under that, we've got the hooks that it comes with if you want to just hang it with these hooks. But we're not going to use these today, like I said, because we bought the Pinocchio hanger. And then we've got in here the outlet timer. So this is the other thing I was telling you guys. I think this is a relatively recent thing that they started doing, because I don't remember, like last year, at some point last year when I originally started looking into buying one of these lights, I don't think they came with an outlet timer. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I'm really excited that it does, because now I don't have to go buy one and I don't have to worry about remembering to turn it on and off and unplug it and replug it in and all those good fun things. So let me get this open. And this is definitely a much smaller one than the one that I've got on my IKEA cabinet. I mean, it looks the same, it's gonna function the same, but it's definitely smaller, which is nice, because that one I've got for the IKEA cabinet is quite clunky, honestly. So here it is, just a little basic standard on-off timer situation. Just your basic little thing. You can buy one if you need it for something else at like Home Depot or Lowe's. So let me set that aside. And then that is everything that we had in the box. I will say this packaging is very nice. I like how they've got like the imprint of the Monstera leaves on here. It's super cute. All right, let me get all of this just kind of tucked back away in here. And then we'll start taking a look at how we're gonna hang this. Okay guys, so I did just flip the box over and I noticed that they do have the specifications on the back. So the actual weight of the light is 4.7 pounds. I was close, I guess. But I also noticed that they have back here like how much it costs per day for you to run the light, which is really nice of them. So it says if we run it 12 hours a day, it will only cost us 6 cents per day. And that's pretty good in my book. But if you were curious about the actual light output for this, in lumens, it's 3,000 lumens. In ppf, which honestly is ppf and I think it's ppfd, are kind of the best ratings or best type of light rating that you want to look at when you're looking at grow lights. And honestly, you guys, I will do a completely separate video on understanding what all of those things are and how to choose your lights based on those numbers and whatnot. I'll do a completely different video for you guys on that. It's a lot of information. It's going to be very sciencey. We're not going to get into that today. But for those of you who already understand it, it is 42. The PPF rating is 42. I keep saying PPF rating. I don't know if it's rating. Anyways, the output is 42. So this is definitely a great light. And I will say we do have also on here, on the side here, it talks about how high to hang it above the plants. So let's take a look at this real quick so we can figure out, because we are trying to cover the Baltic blue, the Monstera, and then usually the Tenanthe setosa is right there. And after we get this installed, you guys, I'm gonna do a quick final check for bugs on that plant. And if it looks clean, we're gonna move it back over here. I think it was just dust, but I got paranoid a few weeks ago, as I mentioned in our shopping video. And so it's been living on the other side of the TV stand, but I think I'm just being paranoid. I don't think there's actually bugs on it. But anyways, we wanna put it in a spot and at a height that's going to work for all of the plants. So there's several things to consider when we're installing this. So one is, are these high light plants, moderate light plants, or low light plants? Honestly, all of these are low light tolerant, but I'm going to treat them like moderate light plants because I want them to get a decent amount of light. So let's see here. So for moderate light plants, it says sometimes called medium light plants. These only require a moderate level of sun and are often known to be easy plants to care for. Traditionally, these plants should stay out of direct sunlight, but should still be in a bright room. That pretty much covers these plants for sure. So here it says that we want to hang them a height of 36 to 48 inches above the plants, and that it will cover an area of 36 inches to 48 inches in diameter. So I do have my tape measure out here. So I'm gonna go measure this out real quick. And what I think I'm going to do, you guys, is just use some masking tape to kind of mask it off on the wall. And I think I'm going to hang it like in line with the Baltic blue. I think it's gonna make the most sense. And I'm gonna reposition you guys so you're directly in front of those plants, but I'm gonna tape it off and then we're gonna take a look at it and see what we think. I'm also trying to decide like how far from the ceiling to hang this. And I might go do a quick check on some YouTuber sites, some other planty people, planty YouTubers who I know have used this and see like how they positioned it. Because I don't know if I want it like all the way right up at the ceiling or a little bit lower. I don't know. Let's just get up in there and start playing around with it and see what we think. So you guys, I was just taking a look in their little instruction manual here, and they included a list of plants that are toxic to pets. So that is really cool of them. And then also in here, they do have like lighting requirements by plant type. So just in case you guys weren't sure if it was a moderate light plant, a low light plant, or a high light plant, and then it tells you how high above the plant to hang the light. So I did want to just take a quick look and see what they said for actually the plants that we're using. Let's see here. So here's the Monstera, so moderate to low light. So like I said to you guys, let's see about the Epipremnum. I'm just trying to see, some of these they're using the common name for the plant on them. So maybe we need to look for pothos. Yes, pothos. High to moderate light. So once again, moderate is also in there. So I'm leaning towards, we're just going to do it as moderate light. I see prayer plant right under that as moderate light. I'm not sure. Let's see if they have calathea separate, or if they're just counting prayer plant as prayer plant family, or maybe they, oh no, there it is, calathea, but moderate light. So definitely we're right to do the height for moderate light. So I measured this out, and basically we've got 45 inches from the top of the ceiling to the top of the Baltic blue pothos, which means that the bottom of the light can hang, if I can math correctly this morning, the bottom of the light can hang 9 inches, right guys? 9 inches from the top of the ceiling, and that would put us at the right height for above the Baltic blue. Now the good news is that's gonna put it obviously further away from the Monstera, but the Monstera does say in here low to moderate light, so it can handle the light being a little bit further away from it. And then that still should be a decent distance for the calathea that is, well, actually it's not calathea, it's a tenanthe. They didn't have tenanthe in here, but calathea was the closest thing. Should still be a good distance for that. But the nice thing you'll see about the Pinocchio hanger when we start to install it is I can easily adjust it. If I feel like it's not being enough light for the plants, I can take it down a little bit. Or if I feel like it's too much light for the Baltic blue, I can take it up a little bit. We can play around with it over the course of the next few weeks until we get it sorted out. But let's get back into measuring and placing this out. All right, you guys, let me get you zoomed in a little bit here and tilted more up so you can see the masking tape. So the bottom of the masking tape is where the bottom of the light would sit. And I measured it out, and that is 24 inches above the Baltic blue pothos. And that should work because it did say the Baltic blue pothos is moderate to high light. So according to their guide, I can get as close as 24 inches to it. Obviously, I need to just watch out for signs that it's not happy about it, but I'm pretty sure it will be fine because it was getting light directly from my southern facing windows before it was on the wall, and it was fine with that. Now, if I do this, that will put, let me tilt you back down and zoom you back out a bit. That will put it, I just measured about 45 inches, I think, above the Monstera, which also should still work because according to their guide, the Monstera, the light can be anywhere from 36 inches to 48 inches above the Monstera. And then it'll put it a little bit closer to the top of the tenanthe when it's back over here. I think I estimated around like 30, 38 or something like that. So I think that will work. I think that's where I'll start with the bottom of the light sitting. And once again, you guys, let me just move you back a little bit again, make sure we're zoomed all the way out. I do think it's going to be best to just have it centered over the Baltic blue. I mean, what do you guys think? I think that's kind of what I got to do because the whole point is these plants create like a triangle, right? And that's going to be the tip of the triangle. So I think it makes most sense for it to be centered over that. Now, the Monstera, this side of the Monstera is not gonna get a lot of the light if I do that, but that's fine. I rotate this plant on the regular anyway, so I think it'll be okay. So I think that's what we're gonna try. So now I'm just gonna, I tried to just eyeball lining this up with the plant ring where it's attached to the wall, but I'm actually gonna measure it from here to there now and make sure we've got the correct distance. And then we're gonna work on getting the Pinocchio wall hanger attached. All right, you guys, and I am using my level here to make sure that I do have this level so that when I measure it out, we're for sure not like shorting it or making it longer because we're on an angle or something like that. Oh, hi, Toby. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna take a look. I figured out the distance from the wall to the center of the ring hanger wall mount thingy. And now I'm taking a look at the instructions for hanging the Pinocchio wall mount. And I wanna figure out, well, like I said, it's adjustable, so I can adjust this so you'll understand once we get it attached to kind of change where it sits and everything. But I wanna kind of try to get it in an ideal situation first, if that makes sense. So I need to figure out a couple of things. One, obviously I need to check the height of this, so I know that bit of information. Two, I need to decide if I want it all the way up at the top of the ceiling or not. So I am gonna grab it and I am going to get up there and kind of like hold it up there so that we can kind of see what it looks like and what we think. Okay, guys, so we can do it all the way up to the ceiling like this. I do recall that Benji Plant does have his all the way up to the ceiling like this, and it's okay. I'm still just torn. I need to hold it up here, and then I'm gonna look at the footage I'm recording right now and see what I think. But I do know that like some of the other people who have this have them much lower, and so I could take it anywhere, kind of anywhere I want until we get to the point where, you know, we can't go further because of the height of the actual light, which I think is close to the height. It's a little bit taller looking at it than this. So theoretically, that means probably I'm thinking about like here might be the lowest that we could go, but we also could do anywhere in between. I'm just not sure that I'm gonna like it totally up against the ceiling, but let me go take a look and see what I think. All right, you guys, so looking at what I just recorded, I don't think I want it butt up against the ceiling. I think I want it like down a little bit, like maybe 4 to 6 inches down possibly. But once again, we're using the command strip. So if I do it and I don't like it, I can move it until I'm happy with where it is. But I went ahead and I attached this adjustable piece to the Pinocchio wall hanger because I also wanted to double check how far from the wall I was going to put it. And this is on the top setting. So if you can see here, there's the 3 holes here and the wooden dowel just attaches this piece. And then I'll show you once we get the light in there how the rest of it works. But this is what allows you to adjust how far from the wall it is. So on this top setting, and the idea here, you guys, or at least I think the idea here is that the top of this should be in line with this. So this gives us 9 inches from the wall, which I think is good in terms of the diameter to make sure that all the plants are getting enough light, because they did say it was anywhere from like 36, I believe, to 48 inches in diameter that it would cover. And so I think that's going to work. So this is probably the setting I'm going to put it in. But obviously, if you wanted it to be less far from the wall, you would just drop this down in the holes until you got to the distance that you wanted. And so I also wanted to make sure, and I'm sorry if this is boring. This part is boring, people. I timestamped this video, so if you want to jump ahead, you can feel free to do so. But I feel like these things are important to talk about because sometimes these are things that people don't think about when they're choosing where to hang something, and then you hang it and you don't like it or it doesn't work out the way you thought you were going to, and then you got to take it off and do it all over again. So I'm trying to save you guys some time. So another thing I was thinking about was once I have the light in here, it will, in terms of how far from the ceiling I was going to put this, I also wanted to make sure that where I put it, once I had the light in here, hanging that light so that the bottom of it was at the bottom of the tape, I wanted to make sure when you were looking at it this way, that the light was going to slightly, the top of it was going to slightly overlap this. I didn't want it hanging below this where you could see this fully. I have seen in a lot of the videos I've seen from other people who have these lights, I do like it when the bottom of this is covered by the top of the light. So that was another thing I was trying to take in consideration when I was figuring out, you know, exactly where between the bottom of that masking tape and the top of the ceiling that I wanted to put it. But like I said, I think we're going to go about 5, maybe 6 inches. Yeah. First, once again, command strips, we can redo it if we want to. I'm going to put it there, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the light strung in here, and I'll show you exactly how this whole system works. And then we'll see, and maybe we'll get lucky and strike gold on the first try, which has been a long time since I have struck gold on the first try hanging something in this household. But once again, maybe we'll just get lucky today. Okay, you guys, so I think I've got it measured out right to where I want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these command strips so that we can get it up on there and get that light in there and see what we think. And I am reading on the back of this that I need to wipe the wall down with some rubbing alcohol first, so I will definitely do that. But none of you told me that these things have to like cure. on the wall for like an hour with nothing attached to them. Okay, I don't really fully understand that, but we're gonna do what it says because definitely don't want this light to fall. It's a very nice, pricey light, and we do not want to be responsible for breaking it. So these command strips, we're gonna separate these out. I've never used these before, honestly, you guys. So it did say to separate them and then press them together. So I'm not sure how these work. I thought it was kind of like Velcro, but oh, I see. I see. Okay, so I was incorrect about how far from the wall that this is going to push it, because this actually, what looked like it was going to be like a 1/4 inch thickness, once you press it together is actually more like 1/8 of an inch thick. So that makes me feel a little bit better. So maybe I'll be happy with this. So we got those pressed together. I'm going to wipe the wall down, and then we're going to get this stuck to the back side of the Pinocchio hanger and attach to the wall and proceed forward from there. And once again, you guys, I am going to use my level to make sure that it's level when I'm sticking it up here on the wall. Also, I am like too short for this. I can't even see the top of it. All right, you guys, well, there it is on the wall level. So now we're going to get the actual light in there. So let me come back around the front and kind of explain to you how it goes in there. Actually, let me see how tied up I can get you up there so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, guys, so I know this is a little bit of an awkward angle, but I couldn't find anything like big enough and tall enough to set my tripod on to get you like higher up here. So we do have the 2 wooden dowels left here, and one of them is going to go in the top hole in the top of the Pinocchio hanger, and one of them is going to go in the very bottom hole. And the cord has to get wrapped around each of these 2 times, and then you can kind of adjust it, I think, a little bit up and down after you do that. So I'm gonna hold it up here. I still have my line on the wall for where I want the bottom of the light to hang. I'm gonna hold it up there so I have an idea of where on the cord I need to wrap it around. So if we get it in line right about there, then it looks like right about here is where we're gonna need to wrap that top part around. And I will say, you guys, they are very generous with the cord on this light. I think it's 15 feet long, so lots of cord. No matter how high your ceilings are, you should be good to go. So I'm gonna try and just get this wrapped around twice here. Actually, guys, this is gonna be kind of tricky. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this around twice, and then I gotta kind of like take the piece out, hold the wrap together, if that makes sense. So I can set it in there and then slide the dowel thing through there. So we'll see how well this goes. I'm telling you, this light may not weigh very much, but when you're trying to hold it up here and do all this at the same time, it feels way heavier. Okay. And of course, my shakiness from my essential trimmers is not going to help us in this situation, but we're going to do our best. So I got it in there on that one. Now I need to take this out so that I can run the cord behind it. All right. So then this piece, well, we're not going to put that in until after we get the cord wrapped around the bottom part. So then from here, same thing, although now I feel like, well, I guess it'll work. Let's see. So now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to wrap this around a couple of times. Actually, let's go this way. I feel like I'm getting stuck on something down there at the bottom, but I will get it figured out. Okay, so there's my wrap. So now I'm just going to push the light out of the way so I can get this in here. And slide that wooden dowel through. All right, I am realizing that technically I don't think this is 2 times around up here. I feel like I needed to go one more time. Like, I think I did like a 1.5 here. So let me fix that. Okay, that is definitely 2 times around now. If I can get the dowel in there, we will be good to go. Command strip's making me nervous, you guys. Okay, so now we just need to add our other piece back in. Just gonna get that dowel in there, hopefully. There we go, we're in. And now the light comes and hangs over here, and then I need to adjust because this is definitely too high. So I'm going to take this out, and I'm just going to keep adjusting that cord until we have it where we need it. All right, you guys, it is up there. I need to deal with getting the cord drawn tight and stuff, which I'll do in a second, but I want to get the plants back into place and then look at it from a distance and all angles and just see what we think. All right, you guys, well, here it is looking beautiful. And once again, I am going to get that cord straightened out here in a bit and work out some of those kind of curves in there from how it was coiled in the packaging. But you can see the Baltic Blue is definitely getting plenty of light right there. The Monstera is getting a decent amount as well. It's kind of hard to tell you guys because it's so bright in here because it is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now at this point. And so, you know, I think what I'll do is I'll splice in some footage from tonight after the sun goes down with just the light on so you can get a better idea of the diameter of the light and how much light is casting down onto each plant. I will say just right now, like looking at it on camera, looks pretty good. In person, that thing's bright, you guys. Like, I mean, it's bright. Like, I don't want to look directly at the light bulb kind of bright, but that's definitely good for the plants. That means they're going to be getting enough light. And once again, if I need to, I can adjust it further up or down if I'm seeing anything weird happening with the plants. Now, I do think I like the natural wood color, even though it is different colored wood than the rest of my furniture in here. Let me back up a little bit and see if you guys can get a better angle where you can see it all together. Like, I think it complements well. I think it's probably better than doing the all white. Don't you think? What do you guys think? Give me your opinions. You know, I need opinions to help me make up my mind if you like the natural wood or if you think I should have gone with the white, because I could always just go order a white one. But yeah, and I will tell you guys, let me come around the other side, and I don't think I'm going to use the command strips permanently, and I'll show you why. Hold on. All right, you guys, so here it is from this angle, and I will say I am also think I'm happy that I didn't have it butt up against the ceiling, but once again, let me know your thoughts if you think it's good there, if I should have put it up by the ceiling, just comment down below and let me know. But definitely looking nice from this angle as well. Now, I will say, I kind of wanted a little bit further out. I wanted it to shine kind of and hang a little bit towards the front of the Baltic Blue pothos so that the Monstera, it's a little bit further in on the Monstera. And even though ideally I think you're supposed to have those 2 pieces of the Pinocchio hanger aligned at the top, I think I can drop that arm further to get that light further out. So I'll probably try that. But if we get zoomed up in here, you guys, you can see my issue with the command strips. Like, it's not sitting flush against the wall. Even if I put 2 of them on there, it's still going to stick out a bit. So once I decide I'm happy with where it's positioned, I'm going to screw it directly into the wall. But all in all, you guys, very nice. Definitely going to make these plants very happy. And I definitely think it is blending in pretty nicely with my decor. All right, you guys. Well, all in all, that was not really that difficult to install, other than the fact that, you know, trying to make sure I wasn't going to mess up measuring stuff out correctly and whatnot. But that actually went pretty smoothly for how things usually go when I try to do it by myself. I usually wait till my dad's in town because he's like the expert hanger. Like, he thinks of every single possible thing you need to measure to get it right on the first try. But, you know, I learned from the best, so I should be able to do it on my own, but sometimes I still screw up and forget about things. So I'm pretty proud of how quickly that went, especially trying to do it by myself. So some other interesting news for you guys though. So the gentleman, Zach, or Zachary, I'm not sure which he prefers to be called by. I asked once in an email, but he didn't actually tell me which he preferred. But he's the one who was helping me actually get the code set up for you guys. I did mention to him what I had told you guys in my 2023 wishlist plant video, that I do want to get a crawling philodendron, the philodendron ploumanii, and I want to put it on my mantle. And that when I do that, I am going to need a grow light bulb to put in the spotlight that shines down on my mantle. And I had mentioned to him that I'm planning on buying their Vita grow light bulb to put up in there. And they went ahead and shipped me a Vita light free of charge. very nice of them. And so it is going to be getting here on Valentine's Day, actually. So that is going to be a lovely little Valentine's Day gift to me because, to be honest with you, it's probably the only Valentine's Day gift I'm going to be getting other than some kisses from Toby, which are always welcome. But yes, so that is coming. Now, obviously, I don't have that plant yet, which means we might need to be doing a little bit of planty shopping. So we might be doing that in the next video, but we'll see. And I know that I did mention at the start of this video that we might be doing some other planty projects today as well, depending on how long this took. And honestly, you guys, this took more time than I thought it would. And that's not to say that it is going to take you that much time. Honestly, this would not have taken me as long probably if I wasn't trying to like film it and everything at the same time. It always makes it hard for me to say how long things take you guys when I'm filming them because I'm moving the camera around and other things and talking to you guys, and you know what I mean. But it did take for me today more time than I thought. I'm looking at the clock right now. And so yeah, I think that's all we're gonna do today. It is, by the way, Super Bowl Sunday, and my friend who's still staying with me right now, I did promise that I was gonna make her some of my delicious little vegan snacks that I like to make to have to watch the Super Bowl. And so I'm gonna do that. And if I'm gonna get it done in time for the game, I'm going to need to start probably right about now. But I hope you guys have enjoyed coming along today as I unboxed and installed this belated Christmas gift, partially to myself, partially from, I guess, my company, since I used the gift card that they gave me. If so, please be sure to click that like and or subscribe button down below. And don't forget, if you are interested in getting some of Soltech's products yourself, you can use code Aloha at checkout for 15% off. Thanks so much for joining me today, you guys, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!